Making good on his pledge to carry on the New Deal policies of Franklin Roosevelt, Truman sent a liberal domestic agenda to Congress. He called for greater unemployment insurance, a higher minimum wage, a larger Social Security system, housing assistance, and, for the first time in the nation's history, a bill for national medical health insurance. But Congress had no interest in social welfare. They shut down the president's domestic initiatives almost completely, and the economy continued its slide. By the spring of 1946, inflation was soaring, and 3 million Americans were out of work. Those on the job demanded pay increases to keep pace. Unhappy with their situation, workers hit the picket lines. In 1946 alone, over 4.5 million Americans went on strike. Their demonstrations were often ugly and violent. In May of that year, union boss John L. Lewis called a nationwide coal strike to secure a wage increase. A month later, the railways struck. With limited transportation, the nation's economy ground to a halt. The president was a friend of labor, but in this instance he felt railroad unions had gone too far. He took action and made a bold appeal to Congress.
I request the Congress immediately to authorize the President to draft into the armed forces of the United States all workers who are on strike against their government.
Returning to military duty was a chilling prospect. Before the president could finish his speech, he was handed a note.
Word has just been received that the rail strike has been settled on terms proposed by the President.
Truman's victory was little consolation to Americans forced to stand in long lines for the most basic necessities. Inflation was out of control and goods were often scarce. In the 1946 midterm elections, Republicans saw an opportunity and squarely laid the blame for the country's woes on the Democrats, and especially President Truman. Republicans won control of both the House and the Senate, as Americans voted overwhelmingly in favor of change. The new Republican Congress was eager to roll back New Deal policies. Republican Senator Robert Taft of Ohio led a conservative backlash against labor in 1947. He co-sponsored the Taft-Hartley Act, which slashed the power of unions. Truman called it an oppressive law and refused to sign it.
I vetoed the Taft-Hartley bill. It is bad for labor, bad for management, bad for the country.
But Republicans had enough votes to override the president's veto. The Taft-Hartley Act took away much of the influence unions had won under the New Deal.